Looks like we are live. Maybe. I think we're live. Looks like it. um I just want to double check though, make sure. Uh the next thing that we've got to do is get what do you call it? Uh Facebook and X, get those rolling. Yep,
We're
we're live.
live.
Make sure you guys hit that like button. Um Yeah. Well, let's talk then, since we've confirmed that we're live. And
Are
as
you
I'm like
sure we're
looking
live?
as I'm looking at our hats, um we're using green screens, and the underneath our hats have uh green. So kind of interesting. If it's too distracting, we may take them off. I don't know. Or we'll just go through with this one. I may have to just like put the bill down a little bit. Um, but actually, I just finished watching some Texas Tech highlights. I didn't really watch the full games, but I did watch the highlights, and I started with the last game that they played, which they played Drake. And at,
Mhm.
at first, whenever I was watching, I was like, oh, these guys can't really even shoot the three. None of the highlights are about the three-pointer. They have a big-time down-low presence. So they've got this guy, Williams, stud. He's a big guy that can also shoot the three. So that scares me a little bit. Um, they have another guy. I think his last name was Turpin. He's
Yeah,
also
JT
a
Turbin.
he's big time as well.
We're topping.
Toppin, yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
So big time as well. It's going to be interesting to see how our bigs do against them. You're going to have to put Adu on Williams. Otherwise, you're not going to stop him. I think that Adu is the only one, Jonas Adu, I'm talking about. Now, Thero is available. So I guess I could say, I take that back. I think Thero could possibly slow him down as well. So Thero and Jonas Adu are the only guys that I trust against Williams. Um, so I'll just get to the point real quick. Is watch the first game, and I'm just like, okay, interesting. Then I'm like, all right, let me watch the other game. So I watched the other game, the first game of the tournament for Tech as well, versus UNC Williamson. I think is how you say it. Um, UNCW. So Tech started out strong, where Tech like early on got a big lead, and I'm like thinking, oh shoot, these guys can shoot the ball. We Arkansas cannot fall behind early, otherwise it's going to be tough. So then,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: Tech let the UNCW come back, and it's just like, Then they even took the lead. Tech lost the lead. So I'm gonna be honest. Tech did pull away from both of these teams towards like the last 5 minutes ish of the
Yeah.
game by like 10 points. But these teams are not really like it. It shouldn't have been this close a lot of the times, in my opinion. At first, whenever I was, doing my research, I was kind of listening to what other talking heads were saying about this game. And they were all saying like the Tech is going to be really, really tough. This, that, and the other. Everybody's picking Tech. I'm to be honest with you, I'm not really seeing it. I'm not saying that you know, I can still imagine Arkansas losing. I'm not saying I'm going to be shocked if Arkansas loses, but
Hmm.
I'd feel more comfortable with Tech than St. John's if I was comparing the two teams and, going like, okay, if we were to play one or the other, who would you want to play? I'd say I want to play Tech. I don't want to play St. John's early on. Just from watching Tech, I just think that Arkansas actually has a better shot at playing against Tech, in my opinion, than than a lot of these people are giving them credit for. I don't know, Sid, what were you kind of seeing the same thing? Because like I actually outside of Williams, I I, I think Williams is going to be a problem, but just Derek has entered the chat. He's just a troll. He's one of my buddies. He's a troll. He's a Longhorn fan. I appreciate him being here. He's trolling, but I saw him putting comments after the video last time, and I saw some other people commenting as well because they thought that he was being serious, but he was just trolling, you know, yapping about Arkansas sucking, and they were like, "Yo, we packed you up twice, bro. What are you talking about, Longhorns?" Like, but Derek's just trolling. Appreciate you being here, Derek, even though you're a troll. But it's fun. It's fun. That's why I keep sending him the invite. It's fun having them in the chat. But yeah, Sid. Anyway, I'm gonna ask your take on this too, Sid. But then we'll see what Derek takes too, because he actually has Arkansas in the Elite Eight, even though he's trolling in there. But yeah, what's your take on the Tech matchup, Sid?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go as far as saying I feel comfortable just because I'm a superstitious guy. I'm gonna
Right.
I'm gonna
That's
take a
exactly
seat
how I'm
back.
feeling.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a seat back and just be a little bit more humble because every opponent, honestly, Sweet 16 can't take it lightly. Um, I know St. John's you mentioned slightly better and had an advantage, but this Tech team knows how to close out games. And as you mentioned, like yes, they are capable of giving up a lead and being in the game, but they know how to finish games also. So
Right.
for us Hogs fans, like we can't ever be comfortable. So I saw that. I saw that, Derek. We're number one. Hogs right Ross messaged me immediately when he was number one. So I was humble. I didn't let him know.
Oh my
But
gosh.
as for the Hogs though, I JT Toppin, you mentioned him a little bit. I mean, it's a big guy that we're gonna have to kind of um, have an answer for down low.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Big Z. I don't know if that's Brazil. Um, I know Brazil has been doing good as of recently, so
Yeah.
um, somebody's gonna have to take care of him down low. Otherwise, he's gonna get all the rebounds, and it's just gonna make our life a little bit tougher in that aspect. So we'll say
Yeah,
not
I'm
too
more
comfortable,
concerned
but
about Williams, honestly, than
yeah.
Toppin.
Toppin only I'm concerned about is because of the rebounds and because of being down low. That's where they win the games, honestly, with their rebounding ability. I know we're hustlers. Our guys are capable of being dogs out there,
Right.
but it's just making sure that we're not letting this guy just take our ball all game.
Yeah. Derek over here saying Jerry money. We've got plenty of Tyson money, but yeah, I mean, if you want to add Jerry money in there too, man.
I hate like this Sweet 16, a lot of the money, or a lot of the teams in the Sweet 16 have a lot of NIL money.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
So
there's no
it is
Cinderellas.
interesting.
It's
There's no
all the
Cinderellas.
big money programs that have spent a bunch of money.
You think
Um,
that is because of the big money?
so I think last year, because I mentioned this, and I'm surprised nobody's talking about this, but um, they last year the ratings were some of the worst ratings in college hoops because there were so many Cinderellas. I don't remember how many. I guess they weren't all Cinderellas, but there were low seeds. It was like the Elite Eight and the Final Four had like low seeds, and because it's fun to see these teams beat big name programs and see a big name program go down. But whenever you run out of big name programs, and it's like North Dakota State, that wasn't one of them. But if it's like North Dakota State versus Duke in the
Mhm.
Elite Eight or the Final Four or something, nobody really wants to watch that matchup. They like the idea of it until they're there. They're like, oh, we want to see Duke versus Kansas or Duke
Yeah.
versus UConn, and so I think that when that happened last year, the committee made sure that they kind of had some checks and balances for these bigger names programs. Also, the bigger name programs are spending a bunch of NIL money, like you said, where they're hitting the transfer portal hard. If these smaller programs have one good year, their coach and their players are gone.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of different things going on. The SEC has put so much money into basketball. Football, they have been putting money into obviously as well, although it seems like that Big Ten is kind of passing them in football, which was a shock to me, but that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But basketball, ooh, man, dude, they've got 7 in the Sweet 16. That is insane. They're spending a lot of money on it.
I mean, to that point of Derek, I do want chaos too. Like, I think a lot of fans that have had their teams go out on the opposite spectrum want chaos, want a 12 seed
Right.
up to a certain, to your point too, up to a certain point. But because I don't think there'll ever be a time where a 16 seed or Cinderella team wins the whole thing or even makes it to the Final Four. And that's been a forever. I win the lottery and make sure Texas State gets 5-star.
Make sure y'all smash that like button as well. Yeah, Derek, you're never winning the lottery. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, this does seem to be Derek's chat right now. We appreciate it, Derek. It's always interesting whenever you're in the chat. As this channel grows and stuff too, it'll be kind of fun just seeing it evolve and Derek getting after it with like Hog fans that don't know him and don't know that he's just trolling. And some people actually get very angry with him. But yeah, so I guess Sid, you and I are kind of in agreement that, from what I understood, you were saying that we don't want to go super superstitious here of like going like, oh, we got this, because we don't want to jinx this thing because I do believe in jinxing and just not going to mess with it, even if it's not a thing, still not messing with it, not testing it out. But I do feel more comfortable than, if we were doing a preview of potentially St. John's versus Texas Tech prior to us playing St. John's, I would have preferred to play Texas Tech based off of watching them. But I do not want to start behind Tech. Like, I want us to have the lead early. If we do fall behind Tech, I will be concerned. I think our formula and secret sauce to winning is starting off hot, giving up the lead, and then finishing. There seems to be a thing. Oh, you go on, and then I'll.
No, how about we don't give up the lead? How about we just start off hot, stay hot, and finish hot? That would be something.
This is why. Normally, I would say yes, but this is why that strategy has been working. So, basketball is a game of runs. And the way that we're doing it, we're kind of scheduling our runs. And we are having a run in the beginning, and then it goes back and forth run.
Yeah.
The other team makes their comeback run. They finish their comeback run right around 3-4 minutes left, which is the start of ours. When we go on a slump, up until then the pendulum just swings back, and now it's our turn to make the run. Or I guess it's anyway.
Doesn't have to be, but I feel like we're testing our luck. And
right.
I get what you're saying. To
all of our victories though have finished off of a run, like a 12-2 run or a 9-3 run. So that's
Yeah,
the only
but
reason I'm saying is the way that our runs are landing at the end of the game. It's a formula for victory, is what I'm saying.
I it's a feeling like Ole Miss, right?
Right. There's that.
The luck runs down when you're keeping it that close towards the end, and you're just hoping this is our chance for that run. That's
Yeah.
it's happening like the last 2 minutes. Um, if we keep it too close, I just think that our luck will run out. So I'm hoping. I mean, if you're right, the secret sauce, keep it going. But it's almost if they forget how to play basketball. They just forget how to dribble. They're kind of just holding on to that lead. They're looking at each other, not knowing what to do. But
Yeah. Yeah. It's nerve wracking live. When you're watching it go down, you're just like, oh my gosh, are they going to be able to do this? And I'll challenge you a little bit on the Ole Miss one, is because you can't take too much away from the SEC tournament.
true. But
They
we wanted to
just,
win that game. You can't say we didn't. We were giving away that game.
I don't think we were giving it away, but we were no longer in desperation mode. Um, I I think we may have been to
Yeah,
an extent, but I think after the South Carolina victory, Cal will say that they were waiting and they were anxious about getting in. I I just I they put 14 SEC teams in, and 2 or 3 of them were lower than Arkansas. It wasn't like we were the back end of the 14 that they put in. We were like
yeah.
upper middle. Um, you know. So Derek's over here talking smack over here. Yes, my girl did pick BYU to win the Natty, but she also doesn't really watch sports that much. So I made her make a bracket against her will. I was like, come on, just do one, see what happens. And hers is actually
And
doing all
Omaha,
right.
right?
Yeah, yeah, she had Omaha to the Sweet 16. Um, but like some of her other picks, like around the Elite Eight, I think that she's got some that make it back in. She had a few upsets that didn't happen, and honestly, dude, if anybody was trying to
Yeah.
go with a decent upset bracket, their bracket is toast. Because
Mhm.
there really were not any good upsets except for Arkansas and Colorado State had one upset and then lost.
Yeah.
Drake over Mizzou. Those were really it. There wasn't. I'd say the Drake one was possibly the biggest one, or Arkansas over St. John's, um, which kind of sucks. Uh, but it is what it is.
For some
Um,
reason, I have a feeling that my bracket's gonna just crumble this week because this is the one I picked with just a toss up, pretty much.
well, I
And
hope so, man. I
I
hope
don't
that
know
I'm
if I
able to
feel
pass you
confident
up.
in I don't know if I feel confident in Tennessee, but I got a Tennessee going to the championship.
Derek has Tennessee winning a natty, which I think is ridiculous. Um,
Let's go.
even
All right, now I'm more comfortable.
now,
I got
even
somebody.
taking Tennessee to the Final Four. Um, Anybody watching could do a quick Google search here of how many Final Fours Tennessee has ever been to. You won't find
Yeah,
one.
but
I'll give you a spoiler. You won't
they
find one.
face they're facing Kentucky this week or
Which
for
Kentucky
Sweet
has beaten
16.
them, has swept them so far.
I don't know. So you're taking Kentucky over Tennessee again?
I don't know. I don't know. Um,
What'd you take in your bracket? Do you know?
I think I took Tennessee.
Okay, so you're taking Tennessee too.
Yeah,
Tennessee too.
Tennessee too, huh? um, yeah, I think Tennessee will win, to be honest. But I don't know how much further they'll get. I think I have Tennessee losing the elite in the Elite Eight, but I'm not sure about that. I'll have to double check.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so Derek had also said, I saw that he said Florida's overrated. I don't know if he's just trolling because I have Florida winning, and I think you do too, Sid.
Yep.
But um,
I mean, Florida did almost just lose to UConn, though.
yes, but UConn's still good. I know UConn isn't what they were, but like tournament UConn, I'm sure is pretty dang good. Like I did not want to face UConn. I kind of wanted to in the way of, oh man, it would be kind of cool to face UConn instead of Florida in that scenario, but like only if it went that, only if it got to that part. Um, let's see here. Derek. Old dad's in the chat. Texas Tech has great inside player. Yep, I was talking about that, and Sid was too. Rely on the 3 shot, and they are like 15 for 55 in the last 2 games. Hogs are not great at 3, but that's how they went. Yeah, so whenever I was watching, the Tech shot a lot better their first game. UNC against UNCW.
UNCW.
Yeah, they shot a lot better from 3. The highlights at least showed a lot more 3-pointers. So I started actually watching the Drake highlights, and there barely were any 3s. There were like 1 or 2, and one of them was by big man Williams. So Williams can be possibly a big problem. He can rebound. He can dunk it on you. He can back you down. He can shoot a 3. They need to lock him up. Thero and Jonas Adu, I would assume, would be the guys on him, although I don't know if I want Adu going all the way out to the 3-point line, so maybe Thero might be a better man to put on him, but he's going to be a problem. And Sid went into a deeper dive on Toppin. Is that his name? Sid?
JT Toppin.
Yeah, and those two are going to be the ones to watch. And just don't let the guards get hot from 3. And in my opinion as well, even though Tech did start out hot against UNCW and let go of that lead, I don't want Arkansas to start behind. I want them to start hot, continue what they've been doing, let go of the lead in the second half, and then close it. I do think that there is a pattern going on here where game of runs that Arkansas they timed their final run perfectly. And I think that is the key to victory here, is make sure that Texas Tech's last run ends at the 3 or 4 minute mark. And hopefully like it's a decent run where it's just like they've got to run out of gas and the pendulum will swing back to Arkansas and Arkansas will close it off. That is my hope in this game, and I think that that's their formula to victory. Sid doesn't want them to get up any lead, which, hey, man, if it works out that way, I'm all for it. But I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a game of runs, and it's going to be all about timing. When does Texas Tech's final run end, and when does Arkansas's end? And I think the 3-4 minute mark is going to be the key part of this game of who's the one. If we're behind before that, and we're the one doing the last minute run, and our last run ends at 3 or 4 minutes, I'm very concerned.
What about the first half? Sorry to cut you off, but what about the first half? Are you comfortable with being down first half? Or
I want to
you want to be
start hot, and then they'll probably lose the lead again. Finish the half on top. So start off, 10-2, and then Tech maybe makes a comeback. Now it's 12-11. Or maybe Tech even goes up 15-12, but then, you swing back in, you take the lead again, and you take a little run into halftime. That's what Arkansas has been doing when they've been winning. They take a run into halftime, and they take a run at the end of the game. That is the formula here. And again, I personally think that St. John's is a better team, and I was more concerned about St. John's just after watching the highlights. Texas Tech is not the same type of defense as St. John's. They're very offensive minded. They do have defense. I think that they're probably slightly better than Kentucky's defense, but they just kind of remind me actually of Kentucky, and we were able to lock them up. So, man, I don't want to get all, this whole show is, man, we're going to take it to Tech. There's no way we lose this one or something.
It sounds like you're saying that. And I was like, I'm
Uh,
here knocking on wood every time you say
yeah,
it.
we're over here knocking, man, because I'm getting all confident over here. I'm
Sweet
just saying
16, I still yeah.
to win this game, and I'm not saying it's going to play out this way, but my keys to victory or to a win here, uh, not to copy Curtis and them over at Inside Arkansas, but the keys to win here are, start out hot at tip off, and then finish halftime right before halftime with a run, and then come out in the second half hot like you have been, and then finish the game on a run where you're the one finishing on the run, and that's their success to winning. Another thing that's kind of interesting about this matchup is now you have more time to prepare,
Mhm.
and that does concern me a little bit. Arkansas kind of came into the NCAA tournament playing in a way that nobody had really seen prior to the tournament. They had seen Arkansas improve as the season went on, but they hadn't seen this like hardcore dog mentality of just giving it to them, like out
Yeah.
physicaling St. John's. Nobody had seen that. Nobody'd seen them do that. Now we have tape of seeing them do that. Um,
Yeah, speaking
so
of that, like,
yeah.
my coworker, was like he was thinking that we would wait to announce Thiero playing until Thursday even, keep them on their toes, and I was surprised that I thought it'd be tomorrow, but I was surprised that we announced it today, or Coach Cal announced it today on Pat McAfee that,
Mm-hmm.
that Thiero
Thero's
would be
back.
playing, so,
He's
um
available. He's available. We don't know if he's going to play, but he's available. Yeah.
I think most likely he will play. Um, for the first half, though, I think I'm in the same boat as you. We have to be up or close, just in it, and then end off the first half on just some sort of uh, a high point.
Yeah.
Even if we're down, just end off some sort of a high point to kind of reel you back into the second
And
half.
hopefully Thero brings in some energy. I hope that he's not like, 50, 70%, something like that, where they're just kind of putting him out there. He has like 2 turnovers, somebody dunks on him.
Right?
It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
You don't want him to be a
Well, to that
liability.
point, like the St. John's that you mentioned also, um, their star player wasn't making buckets. I mean, he
Right.
was what, 3 for something, 3 for 17.
Right.
Um, that helped us also. You can't count that out. So
Yeah.
we gotta count that in that we're hoping Texas Tech does something similar. I know they're St. John's is a better team, but
Right.
that fell into our lap also.
I think that they're going to really hammer Williams, man. Like, I think that that's the guy they're going to try to lock down. Also,
Well,
shout
that's
out
JT
Jocelyn's in the chat
Toppin.
now. We're talking about Pam trucking in there. But what was that said?
No, JT Toppin, I was seeing he's a season leader for them and at 18 points per game, which is pretty high. Um, and he's our season leader in points and rebounds.
Yeah.
So I think that's what your dad meant by the inside guy. I we
Yeah,
really
I think he
gotta
was talking about
just
Toppin more than Williams. To
mhm,
me, Williams just stood out as like an offensive weapon, and
right.
and he's big. Like you watch him, he's big, and I think that he's had a little bit of an injury. His ankle was wrapped up, and I don't know if it was for both games, but I'm pretty sure it was wrapped up for the second game against Drake. So I don't even know if that was like full on, like those highlights of him were full on
Yeah.
like him at 100%. That may have been
Mhm,
80%, 90% of him. And if that was only 80 or 90%, like we have got to give this guy attention and make
right.
sure that he does not torch us from deep. And yeah, offensive rebounding for Tech. We don't want them to get an
Yeah.
offensive rebound, dish it back out in a 3. You know.
Yeah.
Looks like Derek is bringing up all sorts of stuff in the chat. Something about Oh, he worked at Pam too, huh? Oh, worked with Pam. Okay. Yeah. Derek knows about the what do you call it? Transportation or yeah, he does all sorts of transportation, but like 18-wheeler stuff and all that. He's a big time truck driver, and then also does Uber and all sorts of things. Like Derek gets
I was
after it.
wondering where Pam came from. I was looking at the chat. Um, I haven't been keeping up with it.
I think it's related to JB Hunt. Well, it's another trucking. Like JB Hunt is like
Mhm.
the big Arkansas one, but I guess Pam is also there, or maybe they just drive through Arkansas. Um, yes, I guess we're talking about trucking in the chat now. Derek's over here talking about how he almost went to JB Hunt after Pam. So, anyway, shout out to Pam and JB Hunt. So, oh,
What do you think about the Texas head coach? I know we just went through the gauntlet for Bill Self and then Patino. Have you looked a little bit into the
I actually don't know a whole lot about
Tech
him.
head coach? Yeah, Graham Mc. Honestly, I don't either. It's not his first year though.
I'll
I
say
don't
that
think.
this matchup is not going to be the super highlighted game that
Yeah,
everybody's
it's a
like
9 p.m.
sharpening and
game for
exactly
Central Time.
that tells you kind of that it's not as big of a deal as the other two, and that's not a knock on Texas Tech. Like Texas Tech could
Yeah,
come in and beat us. Like
yeah.
I'm not saying that it's
Because California,
impossible.
I mean, the game's at 7, so that's
Right.
the
It's
prime
just
time.
we just played Bill Self and Rick Pitino.
Yeah,
That
it's his
is
second
hard.
year.
Yeah, that is hard to match. So it's understandable that it's not going to be as big of a what would you call it, cinema? I guess like a big
Yeah.
cinema showing, a big they're not going to be paying attention to this game as hardcore, and also a lot of people are just assuming Tech is going to win. I think it's like a seven and a
Mhm.
half point spread at the moment. Oh no, 5.5. Sorry, it's
Five
five and
and
a
a half.
half.
But
Yeah,
they're
it's 5.5.
72%. Yeah, 72% favored, I saw.
Right, and so like people are just assuming that Arkansas is going to run out of gas, Tech is going to beat them, which I actually like
Yeah.
hearing because it's like, well, I don't want Arkansas to get too media friendly or too much media attention where people are picking them. I kind of want them to keep being the underdogs and keep surprising folks. They're never going to get credit until they win the whole thing.
Mhm.
They're never going to be picked to win. I don't
Mhm.
think from here on out they're not going to be picked to win. If we keep winning, just assume that we're going to be underdogs by 5-6 points at this point, unfortunately. But you know, hey, we play better
Yeah.
basketball whenever we're like
No,
that,
I'm
so
looking at,
I guess it's a good thing.
this coach's, like, record and, like, his, um, past colleges. This is his second year at Tech. Last year, he took him to the round of 64. They lost first round. But I was looking at, his past coaching gigs, and he coached at Arkansas State, actually,
Oh,
um,
really?
in 2016, yeah. Then he moved on to North Texas, but, and he did pretty well with them, but before he
Oh, I've
got
got a North
this
Texas
job.
buddy, so I'll have to reach out to him and see if he knows anything about him.
Yeah, he
Um,
did pretty well, it looks like, he was NIT champion before he got the Tech gig.
God, Derek. Oh man. Yeah, he's a work buddy, so Jocelyn and I know Derek pretty well, and he's just gonna be in there. He's gonna be all over the place. Um, let's
Hogs are
see.
ranked 16th, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah. No,
sure.
I mean disrespect. I feel like that somebody in there, Maryland. Why are we behind Maryland? Um, they might be just using the like uh pre-tournament rankings that they're just kind of like, oh, this is kind of the ranking of everybody if you use the actual ranking system before the tournament.
Mm.
But I'm not really that impressed by Maryland. And let's be honest, the guy traveled on that um, game winner, the buzzer beater. Everything that
Oh,
I've
I saw
seen,
that.
it looked like he traveled. So like they really didn't win. I guess you can't review and overturn a travel, but
It was
it's
close. Like
pretty lame to be honest. Like,
it was close. I mean, I get it. In real time, it's harder to call than a video. Just seeing it like slow
he took
motion.
4 steps. Like,
He took
um,
3 steps, but yeah, yeah,
well, so what he did, there's like this rule about like, I forgot what it's called. I don't remember what it is, but it's there's like some weird rule in the NBA, which that would be 3 steps, but that rule isn't in
yeah.
college. So NBA, it was a you know
No, I mean, do I think they're gonna have a shot against
it was
Florida?
yeah.
I don't. I don't think so. Um, it was Colorado State. I do think we should be ahead of them, but
Yeah, that's just my opinion. And again, like we're gonna be given credit as in, oh, well, good job for Arkansas. They overcame so much to get here, but we're never
oh,
going to be that favorite moving forward. It's just the way it is. We're gonna have to prove that after each game that we just win when we're underdogs. Uh, you know, but we'll see. I mean, Tech could beat us by 10 or 15. We don't know. Uh,
right.
Again, I think that something that's really hard to gauge is when you have extra time to prepare. And I will say this is nobody had seen this version of Arkansas until round 1 and round 2, where now you have film of it and now Tech has time to prepare for it and look at what we're doing. The only
Mhm.
thing that Tech can't really see is how Thero will look in this new mentality that Arkansas has coming through.
But it goes the opposite way too. Cal has time to prepare to look at what Tech's been doing.
Yeah, but I don't
Um,
really think that they've been doing anything different. Like they've still kind of looked
mm,
the same part. Like Arkansas has evolved so much throughout the season, and it was really unknown
mhm.
what they would look like in the like physicality wise. It was like, oh, well, they out physicaled Kansas. Okay, we didn't expect that, but okay, they're not going to do it against St. John's. Oh, they did out physical St. John's. Well, maybe they'll run out of gas. Um, like Texas Tech has been very consistent. They have not lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just what I mean, like difference wise of what I mean by Arkansas is doing something in the tournament that they weren't doing in the regular season. Tech just kind of
Mm.
seems to be the same consistency, doing the same things, and now they have tape of Arkansas in 2 games, kind of doing the same type of bully ball. And is Tech going to have like a plan for the bully ball? And then if Tech's new strategy that they have time to, create, are we able to adapt to that? Because we just kind of went in playing bully ball. I'm nothing against Cal's coaching. I think Cal did a great job coaching, but he did do a kind of a simple like bully ball, hustle hard, and out physical the other team. And it'll just be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm still leaning Arkansas on this one. I think we have a good shot at beating Tech. Again, I think that St. John's was scarier than Texas Tech, but
Mhm.
you never know with sports. You never know. Tech could come out hitting every freaking 3-pointer at the beginning of the game, and then they take a 20-point lead. And
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you this: Arkansas is not meant to come back from 20 points. So we
No.
cannot get down too much.
I mean, another thing was the Big 12. Like, you can't count out Big 12. They've got a decent amount of teams in the Sweet 16 as well.
Right.
Um,
They're slowly kind of getting more like the Big
yeah.
12 in
With
basketball. Like they're
Arizona just joining
slowly
them,
kind of
like,
pulling down. but like they're still legit. Like
Right.
don't take for granted, that yeah, they're still legit. Don't
Yeah, with
overlook
I
them.
mean, so you got Texas Tech, BYU, Arizona still in,
Oh
um,
my gosh, Derek's over
and
here.
Houston, of course.
Yes,
Houston,
yes,
Texas Tech,
Houston's legit,
BYU, and Arizona.
but outside of Kansas, those Big 12 teams just don't finish. And Derek, um, we shall see, but I do edge Arkansas against Texas this year in baseball. I think the Arkansas baseball team is looking really good. They look like whenever you look at what a championship quality roster should have on it,
Mhm,
Arkansas has those things that you look for. And I think that they are looking really good. They've got some great bats. They've got some great pitchers. Very great overall. I really like what I'm seeing. It has been really sad watching Arkansas baseball and not seeing the bats be very good. But this year they're exciting and they've won at the end of games in very exciting ways that I'm really excited for the potential of the baseball team. And I think their ceiling is very high. I haven't watched a whole lot of Texas, but I was skeptical of LSU for baseball. Um,
mhm.
but anyway, just wanted to hit on that real quick. I wanted to give a shout out to those baseball hogs, those diamond hogs,
We got
diamondbacks. Is
a
that what they call
ranked
them?
matchup coming up this week also. So for
Right. Who
baseball,
are they playing?
Vandy,
Vandy. Yeah, yep. And
yeah,
Vandy's
Vandy's
always legit in
14.
baseball. Arkansas movie.
Yeah, that's
Hey man, if the Hogs make the Final Four, heck, if they win a Natty, there will be a movie about this. 100%. It might be 10 years from now though, but if they win a movie or if they win a Natty after all of this as a 10 seed, that's movie material, baby. That's movie
one thing.
all the way.
Did
Brad Pitt's gonna
Cal
play
win?
Cal Perry. No, I'm just kidding.
Did Cal win the tournament his first year at Kentucky? I
I
think he did.
doubt it, but I don't know.
I think that's what I remember one of my coworkers saying, like
It was
Cal won as
early.
Cal's only won Kentucky, like won 1 year, the whole thing with Kentucky, obviously, but it was his first year, and then it was just all downhill.
Yeah, so it wasn't really downhill.
Well, yeah, if you
He
consider
made
just like
Sweet
not winning
16s,
it,
Elite Eights,
right,
and
right,
Final
Final
Fours
Fours,
up until 2020. So
yeah,
2020 was whenever it went downhill. There's people that say it was his relationship with the AD. I don't know.
yeah,
But I personally, my belief is it was because of the transfer portal and NIL. I think
hmm
that he was a one and done guy. He went into high school, and then all of a sudden, high school isn't winning you championship. You saw it with Duke. Duke has fallen off since
yeah,
2020 as well until this year. Duke has had to change how they've been building their roster. They have not been the same. Um, so in North Carolina's been getting hit. I know that they've had a coaching change and all that, but like I think that the formulas changed how they were attacking the high school recruiting classes in 2020. And I think that he evolved a little bit late, and now he's doing it where he has more transfers, and you can see it works. I do have a
yeah.
concern that now he's going to get 4 or 5 freshmen, um, which he got 3 freshmen, I think, last year. Was it 3? Richmond, Fland, and who was the third one?
Um,
Knox, right? It
yeah,
was only 3. And then they got like a practice squad guy. But I'm pretty sure they only got 3 freshmen. Now they have 3, and there's potentially a 4th one coming in, which I do think it's worth it. If you can get this 4th
yeah.
guy, Ament, I think is his name, Ament, Nate Ament, that guy's legit. Get him.
I don't know if you saw though. I think it was Coach Cal on Pat McAfee again. Him saying he's not gonna go after really the freshmen coming in from high school. He's gonna go after transfers more so than, any freshman. Just now with NILs, it's difficult to even he might not even get any, he said, or go after any or give scholarships
I
to
know, I
any.
didn't really like that.
So
To
I
be
was
honest
like,
with you,
we're kind of like sway like, yeah, exactly. We're
yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't like when he said that. I don't want to go heavy freshman. I like some, you know, badass freshmen to come
You
in,
can't just like, yeah,
but
count them out. He said, "I'm not gonna." I think he said, "I'm not gonna give any scholarships to like freshmen. I'm not even gonna look at them," which is crazy to say this early. Um,
well, he was saying other teams were doing that, not him.
okay,
Yeah, he was
got
saying
it,
that
gotcha.
other teams aren't really, getting freshmen as much, but he was saying that we're still going to rely on freshmen, and I was kind of like, and I think he
Mm,
threw some numbers out there of like 4 to 5 freshmen, and I didn't really, I may be misquoting him, but I thought that I had
yeah,
heard that at one point, and I was like, I don't want 4 or 5 freshmen, I want 3 to 4 freshmen, um, and only get a fourth freshman if this guy is legit. Um, but we're just gonna have to see. I don't know. I like
so
what
it
they did
wasn't
this
as
year. If they had more
yeah,
9 or 10 or 11 scholarships versus 9 scholarships, but I liked only 3 freshmen coming in. And
mhm,
Sid, another interesting topic here is who comes back. Brazil has 1 more year because he kept getting
mm.
hurt. He got extended years of eligibility. Um, I'm almost 100. I'm like 90% sure that he has 1 more year. I know I saw it somewhere. Um, he has 1 more year. Um, DJ Wagner, I don't think he's going to the NBA. So that's two potential players. You've got um, Billy Richmond. I don't think he's going to the NBA. That's 3. Um, Thero is up in the air. I don't know. So
Theo is going first round.
okay, Thero's going to the NBA.
Yeah,
So we're at 3 right now. Um, uh, what's his name? Big Z. He's not going to the NBA yet. Not with
no.
how it's been going the
I
second
just
half
don't
of
know
the
if they
season.
they bring. I don't know if they bring back all these guys that you're mentioning. Though it's possible
And
that
Knox.
they don't go to the NBA, but I don't know if we bring them all just because they're not going to the NBA.
Well, there's
Um,
Knox too.
I would keep for sure if Carter Knox is not going. I'm just every player you mentioned. I don't know if we keep the whole team.
Would you keep who would you not keep out of those? Brazil, Knox, Richmond, Big Z.
Maybe Big Z. I don't know if I'd keep him.
Well, what if you could get his
Um,
brother here too? Both of them.
depends how much we're gonna have to
I know,
with.
man. So many scenarios. To be honest, it's going to be
Yeah.
hard to go over and see. But
Even
what I mean
Brazil.
is
I
like
don't know if.
there's 4
Yeah,
guys that I don't think are going to the NBA.
yeah.
Brazil might. Brazil might. So, yeah. So it would be Brazil is on. So I guess it's at 4 to 5 with Brazil. Is Brazil the 5th, I believe. So it's
Brazil, I don't is he going
Knox.
to the NBA?
I don't know. Like
Yeah,
he has 1 more year of
could.
eligibility, but honestly, I think that he could make it in the NBA now. And it might be a risk to stay 1 more year because he's had a really good second half of the season. That it's like take that momentum to the NBA. So I think Brazil was like the 5th. So it would be Knox is 1. Richmond is 2. Knox, Richmond. Big Z is 3. And then the 4th would be Brazil and then Thero. But I think Thero is going to the NBA. Um, I guess that would be the last. Boogie Flan's obviously going to the NBA. So I guess 3 to 4. So 3 to 4 you got coming back. Um, yeah. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah. Did
Oh.
you say Wagner's coming back
Oh,
too?
Wagner. Yes. So it is 4 to 5. Wagner's the other one. I just don't think that he's NBA ready, man. I just don't. Um,
Mm.
he may go for it, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know.
AD is one guy that's I think we bring him back. He surprised me in that he's that the
Jonas Adu?
hustle guy. Yeah, Jonas
He's
Adu.
out of eligibility.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, him and Nelly are out of eligibility.
Then you said Billy Richmond, Big Z, Boogie. Well, not Boogie. Boogie's going
Knox and
or
Wagner in
not.
Brazil. And Z. So
Hmm.
yeah, so like you've got 4 to 5 guys potentially coming back in Z, Wagner, Brazil, um, Richmond, and Knox. Like, yeah. And then
Big
three to
Z,
four
I'm not
freshmen.
sold on it. Yeah,
Yeah, then
we'll
three to
see.
four freshmen, and then 2 transfer portal guys. So I guess he's probably going to aim for 11 scholarship guys. Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I don't want more than 4 freshmen. Like I want 4 to be the
Yeah,
maximum number of freshmen. Me personally, get some studs that are freshmen, but don't get more than 4. Um, I would prefer 3, but 4 is okay, but no more than that. Just my opinion. But is there anything else that you want to add on? It looks like we're approaching 1
no.
hour.
I just saw Calipari. Actually, I mentioned it wasn't his first year. They took him to the championship. It was his third year. First
Okay.
year they went
I knew
to
it was
Elite Eight.
early, but I didn't think it was the
Yeah,
first.
he went Elite Eight first year, and then second year went to Final Four. Third year is when he won the championship. So it was a steady climb. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's not to say history repeats itself, but
And he was legit up until 2020. Did he come in 2012?
yeah,
I think that's when it was.
2012 is when he,
Yeah.
I think,
So
won it.
for 8
Yeah,
years, he was insane. Like he did
yeah,
really well for 8 years. So, expect that the first 5 years here, I mean, he's going to take it to him. I think that
yeah.
he's going to surprise some folks. We'll see how this next class turns out. Especially if you've got 3 to 5. We're just going to say 3 to 5 guys because there might be one guy that comes back, but he ends up transferring. But Cal was also talking about like he doesn't want any of his guys ever hitting the transfer portal. It's like, hey, if I'm coaching you and everything, and we're putting this all into each other, it's kind of disrespectful to hit the transfer portal and dip out of here on your guys. So
Yeah.
anybody that's not going to the NBA, I'm just going to assume is going to stay at Arkansas. So
There was a guy, I forgot what team. This team is still in the Sweet 16, and
mhm.
one of the guys on the team already is in the transfer portal or entered the transfer portal. I don't know if you saw
On
that.
Arkansas?
No, not on Arkansas.
Wait, who are you talking
Uh,
about? Which team?
I don't know if
Are you talking
I
about
just
that's left
mentioned
in the
it.
Sweet 16?
Yeah, that's left in the Sweet 16.
Oh, is he? He's got to be on the bench, right? Like this isn't like a
Yeah.
starter, right?
No, I think he's on the bench, but he's a famous player's kid. Let's see.
Really?
It's gonna come to me.
Hmm.
Justin Pippen, Scottie Pippen's kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from
God,
Michigan.
just wait. Like,
I know. It's
wait.
his first year.
Why
It's
do
his
that?
first
Like,
year. Yeah, especially when they're in the tournament still.
Yeah. Well, um,
So
let's hear your predictions, Sid. You're gonna be everybody's already heard mine like 10 times.
a million
So
times, yeah.
how yeah. So
So
how's this ending?
I'm happy with the season so far, and we made it to the Sweet 16. Um, and I'm gonna go with I,
You saw that comment? I saw you.
no, I didn't see that.
I thought you were looking at the comment going like, huh?
No, because
Derek.
I thought we were gonna go to lose to KU. Thought we were gonna lose to St. John's.
Yeah.
I say I'm slightly favored.
You're
I'm
afraid,
slight.
aren't you?
I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm gonna keep it going. I think slightly favored to Tech.
Okay, well it's been working, so I appreciate it, Sid. We
Just a
all
feeling. Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah.
Derek
Have
is
to do it.
saying they're going to the Elite Eight and then bye, which that's what I have in my bracket. I had them winning this one in my original
Yeah,
bracket and then
same.
losing to Florida. Also, the last 4 times Arkansas has been in the tournament in my brackets. I have predicted Arkansas perfectly. The 2 times they went to the Elite Eights, I actually in my brackets had them at the Elite Eights and losing there. And then the Sweet 16, same thing. I had them getting to the Sweet 16 and then
Yeah.
losing in the Sweet 16 to UConn. And then I had UConn winning the whole thing that year. And this bracket, I have them Elite Eight and losing. I'm not going to be so happy to brag about that. If we get to the Elite Eight, pregame.
Yeah, if we get the
I
Elite
won't be
Eight,
talking
I
about
mean,
that, if
yeah.
we for that pregame show or whatever. But
Let's see what happens. Let's just hope we get to the Elite Eight. Let's just try to get to the Elite Eight, and then we'll see. We'll
and I'd be
get on
stoked
live
for the
again.
Elite Eight. Like even if they exit at the Elite Eight, get to the Elite Eight. I'm stoked right now. Sweet 16, how all this season has gone. That's a good season so far. Hopefully they finish though. In the just keep going. Further than where we are right now. I hope they continue moving.
Like Derek said, let's win it all. I know he said jinx after that,
I
but
know what he said. Yeah,
but let's do
but
it.
yeah, let's.
Let's
Hopefully we win it all, but we'll just have to wait and see. According to Sid, we're gonna lose today or on Thursday, but the haters have kind of gotten us
slightly.
some dubs, so
Yeah.
I know what you're doing, Sid.
No, I do. I do have always like a slight feeling that the other team that we're gonna lose in a heartbreak Hogs fashion.
Hey man, we're really turning the narrative around this time around. We're making the other teams heartbreaking. So, but
All
we'll see
right.
what happens. I'm still leaning with Tech, or not leaning Arkansas over Tech, but I don't want to get too confident because you just never know with sports. But yeah, I've said 1,000 times what the formula is to win. Hopefully that's what happens. I just hope that we are the ones that get the last run at the end of the game. And if that is the case, I think we're in good shape. So with that being said, I think we're going to head out of here. We will do a reaction to the game probably the following day and not game night.
Yeah, at midnight.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be able to do it game night, but on Friday we'll try to do something. And so I guess we'll see you guys then.